So it's January, and even though the sun's out today, which we haven't seen it for a few days, it's still icy cold. And you might think that, well, since it's winter, you can't do any gardening. But this is the time of year that you prep. And this year, I've decided that I'm going to try to grow strawberries from seed. There's this variety that I can't find as a plant, which is how most people grow strawberries. And so even though it's only January, I need to stratify this seed. Most perennials need a process called stratification, which means you just give them a cold treatment before they will sprout. And that's so in nature, they have to go through the winter before they sprout. Because if they started sprouting in the fall without that cold period, they would die before spring came. So that is nature's way of making sure that a perennial seed doesn't sprout before the spring. So I've never handled strawberry seeds. They look really tiny. So let's see how this goes. Okay. Here are the things that you're going to need to do this stratification process. Your seeds, of course. So I'm going to use some just toilet paper because it's thin enough that I should be able to see the seeds on the wet toilet paper, and then I should be able to just cut them apart and plant them with the toilet paper so I won't have to handle them again, because they may actually sprout while they're in the refrigerator. So I don't want to touch those delicate little roots or anything, especially with small seeds like this. Some kind of airtight container that they can go in. You could use like a Ziploc bag. I try to avoid those kind of things, but the other advantage of something like this is it won't damage, it's more protective than a plastic bag. And then I'm just going to use this plate because so I can move the seeds around. It's smooth and I should be able to move the seeds around. I use pine tree, which I think is like superseeds.com. I'll put a link in the description. They are great because they have smaller amount of seeds in their packets. Most seeds you kind of want to get, unless you save your own seed, which then you don't even need to worry about it. You don't want leftover seeds, especially with these small ones. Small seeds like carrots and beans and that kind of thing, or carrots and these strawberries and even radishes. The smaller the seed, the less time it stores. So like beans and corn, which are a big seed, they'll last a long time in storage. But like carrots and strawberries, you're lucky to get 3 years, and even then you're probably going to get a lot that don't sprout. I'm going to plant all of these because these seeds are so small. And then a spray bottle to just kind of dampen my toilet tissue. And then the most important tool for me is my old lady reading glasses, because I don't think I'm going to be able to see these seeds. So let's see what we got here. Okay, these are called Rainbow Treasure Strawberries. And oh my goodness. Okay, so this was supposed to be 20 seeds. Look at these. Look at how tiny they are. They're just so tiny. So let's move these to the side. Okay, gosh, I don't. And then I think I can probably get them all on maybe one square. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and actually, I don't want to get my seeds wet because it'll make them hard to handle, but you know what? I'm gonna dampen this afterwards. So, dampen my finger, put my seeds kind of evenly spaced here. Okay, there's 2. So the easiest thing to do is just lick your finger a little bit to get it damp enough to grab the seed, because I don't think you could pinch these seeds like this with your finger, so you just push down and pick them up. And then I want them, okay, last one. Okay, I want them to be far enough apart on this tissue that I can separate them, just cut them out with scissors. So this may take a little bit of finagling to get them where I want them, because I want to be able to cut them apart. Okay, can I cut them apart? A more precise person would probably do some kind of grid thing. I'm not that precise, so I'm just making sure that I can actually have enough space to cut them apart. And okay, so the next step is just to put another piece of tissue like this, and then I'm going to go ahead and spray this to wet it down, and just press, press, press. And you can see the seeds in there. A little more water. Okay, there we go. We want to seal it really well, because that'll keep the seeds from shifting. It will keep them moist. Okay, so this is going to end up kind of like seed tape, actually. But I think something that I do want to do is I am going to grab, because if I fold this up, well, it may fit in here. I feel like if I fold it up, it's going to stick together, and then all my spacing is going to be messed up. So I don't want it, to fold. And yes, it is big enough. Okay. So I'll actually fold this over the edge so these bottoms don't fall down. And it's sticking pretty well. Like, it's sticking to the plastic, which is good, because I don't want it to fall down and fold over, because it's gonna stick. So okay, so this is what I have, and then I'm gonna go ahead, and I don't know if you can see, you can barely see the seeds. They're pretty obvious though, and if they start to sprout, I should be able to see them too. Might give it one little more squirt. You don't want it like soaking water running everywhere wet, because the seeds will rot. So just a good damp with plenty of air, and then put the lid on. This will go in the refrigerator, and it's going to sit in there for 3 weeks, maybe 4, and then I'll transplant these into some soil. So that is the beginning steps of planting your strawberry seeds. And this is like, this rainbow treasure has pink flowers, which I think will be awesome. So we'll see how many sprout in 3 weeks.